Meow.
No.
We're live.
We're live.
Oh,
Say hi, everyone.
hello, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, I said it wrong.
What?
He said to say hi, and I said
hello, everyone.
everybody.
That was my Izzy impression.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
It's bright today. Shades are back.
Right, every day.
Every day the sun's out.
God, I hope not.
What?
Keep going. I'm just going to.
Okay.
All right. So, welcome to episode 42 of the Force Choke podcast.
That's 4-2. 2 after 40.
42. I'm Sarah.
Micah.
And I'm Lewis.
And we're going to talk about some stuff.
Some stuff. What kind of stuff?
Some stuff.
Preferably Star Wars, but who knows?
Shards of the past.
Shards of the past.
Shards of the past.
Did you say
Vader.
shard? Like if when you.
Yeah.
Shitty episode again. Always.
Hey.
Right off the
Always
bat.
go back to poop.
Son of a bitch.
I don't know how us and Star Wars
And
poop.
And poop.
It just hit all. It's a well, I guess Star Wars is a circular kind of thing, right? So reciprocal, kind of like.
I was like, where are we going with this one, dude?
Wow.
But so there's a big controversy, right, about this fan film by I believe his
Worshipness.
Danny
Danny Ramirez.
yeah called Vader Shards of the Past, right? So
This is not funny. This is Star Wars.
serious.
This is life.
Yes,
But in a way, aren't shards of the past?
I
Like
guess
a shard
that
of
would
glass.
be-
Duh.
No, Anyway.
that'd be rough on the area. Dude, shards.
We're spitballing today. We're missing two
Yeah,
people,
also.
obviously.
Oh yes, we're missing Tim and we're missing Izzy, who
They got lost.
having shards of their past.
They were walking down the yellow brick road, and it blew up.
Whoa.
And then they're walking on shards of
The past.
The
the Death
past?
Star.
The brick road.
All right, so let's get into it, right? So we literally watched it like 10 minutes ago, maybe, on YouTube. And there was a literally, and there was a big controversy over it, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. But why don't we get into what each of us kind of thought about it? I guess our feelings towards it or critique. I don't know
Let's
if you
talk
want to
about
say.
our feelings.
Yes, talk about your feelings.
I don't think you'll want to hear that.
Wow.
I-
That's a whole
You see, when I woke
that's
up
a whole
today,
different episode.
there's a goddamn lizard people. Trying to sound like Alex Jones.
Oh, Miss Dr. Jones.
I said Alex Jones, not Dr. Jones.
So, Sarah, what were your initial thoughts on Shards of the Past? I mean, it's okay. Let's start off by saying he had like I don't know what his budget was.
Yeah,
But
I mean
that's-
he did well with like the sets and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, but I can't do
How was
much
it?
with that. But better than I could have done, or like I'm sure.
Like if we were to say we're gonna make a Star Wars fan,
Yeah, it would be like legit me putting this on and like your little toy TIE fighters. Pew, 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 pew. Like that would be it.
yeah,
Oh my God.
And maybe like y'all could do like the background, like something. I don't know.
yeah,
But not, it wouldn't be good. Anyway, it explored like a thing, like a, how do you say? Like a scenario.
Oh, no. This is all you. Go ahead.
I know. God damn it. Like, why didn't he just like say, hey, fuck you, man.
Mhm.
You promised me something. You lied.
Yeah, you're talking
Then-
about Vader to Palpatine.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Was there like any information watching it? Like, I mean, like, was there a preface to it? Like, this is what we're doing.
It was,
Very, very.
there were
brief.
like the words subtitle.
Yeah, kind of like how Solo and Rogue One did.
Mhm.
It's a time of turmoil or whatever
Yeah.
it is. You know what I mean? In this one, it was kind of like, for the galaxy, the Empire. I'm just paraphrasing. The Empire brings hope for others. It brings like tyranny
And-
or something like that.
Yeah.
But for Vader, it just brings suffering, and then it kind of went
Yeah.
I'm
into
gonna bring peace to my new empire.
it. Your new empire.
Well, because I guess I didn't see that part. Like when I was trying to set up, I didn't see that you started it, and I'm looking up. I'm like, are those clone troopers?
Yeah.
And then I was like, who's that? Is that Palpatine? And then you gave me a goofy look. Well, I was like, I don't know what the hell I'm watching. That's obviously Vader. Right? Unless it's his cousin
that's
Frank.
straight up bubblegum.
Frank,
With a little paper.
Frank Vader.
Oh, hi Frank, by the way. We have a follower, Frank.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I just went to Frank because of Frank Castle. Anyway,
No.
but like I wasn't entirely sure what was going on. Then I started to piece it together. But like I said, I saw like it was a clone trooper look like. I was like, what the fuck? What was that? So
And I think this happens like right after episode 3, I would assume.
I think so.
Something like that.
Because he's still pretty crispy.
Yeah. Mhm.
like he's on point crispy or
No.
Krispy Kreme.
Like he was just on fire crispy.
oh, so he was lit.
Yeah. So I mean, well, did you like it? Well,
I didn't hate it.
It
Would
wasn't
you-
Star Wars. It's a fan project.
It
so
was,
don't-
yeah, I know, and that's like what I'm trying to wrap my head around. I liked the avenue that they went down.
Mhm.
Would I watch the next episode? Maybe.
Like if we were to say, "Hey, we're going to talk about it today," you're like, "Okay,
Yeah, like
well, let's
sit
see
down
what it
and
is."
watch it. But if I have like 80 other things to do, I'm not gonna be like I have to watch it now.
That would be the
Kind of.
81st
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't horrible.
Uh huh.
It was a little like hard to.
Was it hard to stay engaged with?
Yeah.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Because there was
didn't
points where I don't know what was going on in the beginning, but there was like a voice in that, like a disembodied voice
Uh-huh.
in the background, and I was like, "What the
What is this? Mhm.
Like that's how it sounds. Sorry.
I think
That's
Sarah
weird.
you need to watch this again and do a rebuttal
No,
to herself.
no, like,
Until your prior self.
oh my god. But no, like sometimes it was difficult to understand. Like sometimes when Palpatine talked, there was
Yeah.
one segment I was like, "What the fuck?" Are you doing?
What is he saying?
Yeah,
Mm.
I should
but I
have
mean,
put the
it
subtitles on.
wasn't. And maybe
Was
I'll
there
go back and do that later after I do 80 things.
Yes, and then
I'll rewatch it with
rewatch
subtitles
with
on.
the subtitles.
Yeah, it wasn't horrible. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like
God damn, y'all are critiquing this harder than episode
No,
one.
I'm not saying. Oh no. But,
well, there was qualities in this that episode 1 did. No,
it
I'm
was
just kidding.
interesting. It was interesting.
It's like it would have been an improvement if he goes, Misa here! Hello, Annie!
Well, Micah, there was
Would've been
some
improvement.
people at work saying, urging you, you got to watch it. You got to watch it.
Yeah.
You need to watch it. And now you've watched it. How are
I
you
actually
feeling?
thought it was pretty good, especially if you have the context like this is a fan-made movie kind
Yeah.
of thing. You have to obviously you have to understand none of this is more or less I don't want to say authorized,
Mhm.
but it's definitely not done in the good graces of Disney or
Well, I think
Lucasfilm.
I think you
especially.
got permission from Disney to do it.
No.
I'm almost certain.
I don't think so, only because I watched a video about okay, I guess part of the reason that I wanted to watch this more, I just
Mhm.
didn't make time for it, was because I saw the video of the guy saying after the fact, he made it and they took it from him basically. Was that he asked for permission and they're basically saying since it was in the likeness of the character that he would not be able to, it wouldn't be able to be monetized even though he spent
Yeah.
I think he said something like $60,000 or $70,000 that he put into this.
Okay.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, and so
Wow.
and that's why he's like, well, fuck it, I still want to do it. This is still like a fan thing for me to do, like a passion project. So he wanted
Yeah.
to do it anyway.
I'm sure he wrote a script and people were like, "Hey, this would be
I
really
wonder-
good." If we were able to watch it.
Yeah.
So,
But from my memory, and I could be wrong, we can go check it later on. But from my memory, it was that he asked, and I don't know if he necessarily got permission that he couldn't do it, but he definitely didn't get permission to make money off of it. At least
Yeah,
I know
there
that part
you
for
go.
sure.
that I think you're absolutely right on.
But I think part of the problem is that because when they made it, is that he knew he wasn't going to get money off of it, but now not only was he not going to get money off of it, but Disney's making money off of it,
Mhm.
off of his work, which I think is bullshit. And if he knew that from the beginning, he might have been like, okay, maybe I'm not going to invest my money in for someone else, especially a huge damn corporation to
Yeah.
make all this money off of it. I think that would have been a huge stipulating factor.
Yeah.
So we can go back and look at that at some other point. But either way, he puts in a lot of his money, and it's a YouTuber, so I'm sure he's making enough money,
Yeah.
and that's going to get him enough notoriety to bring the channel. I mean, but it's hard. This is your passion project. You spent, 30,000 shy of $100,000 on this thing.
Yeah.
And now someone else is making money off of your, off of your work.
So I'm going to stop you right there, Micah, because when on YouTube, I think he goes by Star Wars Theory or SW Theory or something like that, right?
Okay.
I did see that he had like 1.5 million subscribers.
Oh, shit.
I don't know what it was before this film.
I'm sure it's
but
quite.
So maybe
Yeah,
it
I'm
just
sure.
brought him like popularity, and in turn that will bring in money. I mean, that's not really a consolation though for
If he gets enough,
if they're making money off.
if he doubles his follower count and they just simply watch all the videos he already has, like he's making money off of it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be enough, but like he does his passion project. He, almost he elicits the emotional response to the people like, yeah, fuck Disney, blah, 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 or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to, we're going to spend more time. And maybe that's a way for people to fund the future projects.
Yeah.
Because I know in the video he did say he wanted to make a second one, despite the fact that he more or less got screwed on this one.
Yeah. Because it did say part 1.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
On
because
this one,
I think he said he planned like 8. I don't want to say 8 or 10 or 18 or something like that, but it seemed like when I heard the number, it was a significant amount. So
let's
anyway,
say he was to spend, how much did you say he spent on this? About
I think he said $60,000 to $70,000.
Well, let's go conservative. Let's go 60. And he wanted to do 8 of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still
That's
huge chunk of change. It's still $500,000 almost.
Yeah, that's crazy,
But seeing that video first, like it was like, well, let's check this out. If it's that good that Disney can make money off of it, then it has to be close enough and at least likeness and what would happen as far as the story.
I wonder how that works. Where it's like, okay, let's say Disney says it's ours now.
Mm-hmm.
Can they in essence take it, put it on their YouTube, and if people watch it, then they can make money off of it? Is that how that works?
Yeah.
Since
I'm just curious.
YouTube seems like it's going through some really kind of crooked stuff. I mean, as is a lot of social media type platforms. But if you're able to monetize it for Disney, then I would say probably. Right. But I would also probably say that Disney wouldn't do that because they wouldn't dare want to say like, "Oh, we made this. We're backing this."
Maybe
they will siphon the money from it.
Maybe they would do like a thing where it's like, "Hey, look what a fan did" on their Facebook and then or what YouTube,
kind of link it,
and then maybe just like have that little disclaimer first, or like check out our
fan
like
films.
I feel
our
like
fan films.
Court, though, or something.
Well, if they credit him though,
doesn't matter. It's so disingenuous for the corporation. Oh, look what a fan did for us. Yes, we're making money off it. Yes, his ass was out. It was $70,000.
Like, post it. Hey, this is our fan video. Check it out. All these ads, la la la, link to whatever crap, and then it's like clickbait kind of.
Okay.
And then they can make money that way.
Are you okay with that?
It was kind of shitty.
Kind of.
It's shitty.
So I'm going to ask you guys.
Oh yeah.
So let's say, for instance, right? We kind of catch fire, get 500,000 followers,
like
or
when someone
whatever.
pours gasoline on us.
We're extra
I feel like
Put me on my spot, please.
But and then Disney, whatever we put out, they kind of like take it, and they make money off of it. You know what I mean?
I think there's a way different argument for that because obviously we're talking about their product, but again, by definition, this would be intellectual property theft because if people tune in to listening to us, it's because
intellectual. I mean,
okay, maybe you can question that side of the table, but if anything, if that were to be the case, I mean, but it would be to listen to our thoughts on it. Micah being an asshole, Sarah making silly comments, CGI ghost.
CGI puppets.
Lewis, taunting me the whole goddamn time.
Yeah.
But you can't prevent people from talking about it. So if people are joining in, they're listening to what our thoughts on. I mean, it's not like people are
Yeah, Disney.
If you wanted to make a
if
you want to make a politician hate video and people start watching that, it doesn't mean that politician is going to make money or can own that particular video or podcast or whatever.
True.
You know, just because they are the focus of the topic. Right?
Yeah.
They're the focus of the actual entire conversation.
Yeah.
Because again, they would be listening to our thoughts. So I feel like that, as far as creativeness, that's where they would put a stop. But this is,
I think I was more like you went very detailed. I was more like,
this is a podcast.
Yeah,
right? We're
but
supposed to talk about shit.
I guess what I was saying is, let's say that because this is a Star Wars thing and Disney owns it. What if they were to do something like that? You know what I mean? So let's say we started making some money off of this, and either Disney put a stop to it, or they were like, okay, well, whatever revenue comes in that way, it's going to go this way. You know what I mean? Kind of along the same lines as that fan film. How would you guys feel about that? I'm just curious.
Well, you're gonna have to get code words. Mm-hmm. Star Wars equals shit show. So I watched the shit show last night.
Shit show fan film.
Shit show fan film. Featuring Mater.
Mater. Is it cars now?
Okay, Dater. I don't know.
Ro Ramarin.
Ro Ramarin.
I don't know. I just think it's.
Would that upset you? That's all I'm asking.
Yes.
Well, yeah. I mean, but it also, if I was a YouTube creator, in this case, I would be extremely pissed.
Yeah.
And of course, I would want it out there, but I think that would be a huge incentive to not do anything further until you get clarifications whether it's been going through court or not. Because again, I think if he were to take that to a court, I mean, God knows the money that Disney has, so the lawyers that they probably have. But at some point, like, that is not. I mean, what we saw was part of the shards of the past.
Yeah.
I don't think that's prescribed or written down anywhere as far as legend or canon.
Mm-mm.
And so, if anything,
it was his intellectual property.
It's his intellectual property. Mm-hmm. You know, sure, visualized through Disney's creation, but at least I think it would come down to a point where saying, like, okay, no, this guy can't get money, and you can tell this guy he can't show it if you want to, but you can't make money off of it either, because at some point it's a joint venture.
Yeah.
So it's like either you let him put it up and no one makes money on it, or you allow him in the profit margin, or it's not shown.
Yeah.
Period. Mm-hmm. Like, because that's such a bullshit thing, and especially we're supposed to be looking at Disney like.
It's very interesting that you bring that up, Micah, because there was a movie that I saw. It was a documentary on David Prowse, and I think I brought this up before. I don't know if Sarah was with us then. David Prowse, who plays Darth Vader in the suit.
Yeah.
Right. He was on episode. The episode was A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and then in Return of the Jedi, when they finally reveal, this is a story, right? Is that they had him in one location, and then they had the gentleman Sebastian Shaw actually filming that, and he didn't know that they were going to do that, right? And so. Him and George Lucas, had a falling out and stuff like that, where to the point of he has nothing to do with anything Star Wars anymore. Like, he's never been invited, he can't go to them, etc., etc.
Let's get him on the show.
I know, right? Well, I wish we could. He stopped traveling to the United States about 1.5 years ago because of his knees and health issues.
Force choke on the road again.
Right?
Yeah.
But he on the it was on Netflix for a while. It was called I Am Your Father, right? And so at the very end,
not my dad.
at the very end of this documentary, they actually did the scene of the reveal with him in the suit, right?
In that scene, was it actually Mark Hamill?
No, I don't. I'm not too sure. I don't because and I'm glad you went that
Like
route.
that's what I mean. Is like, did they shoot both of them? And it's like, oh, by the way, we used the other clip because you're a douchebag kind of thing. Like as far as George Lucas's.
Mhm.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I meant in the remake. I was like, what?
Well, the thing is that I think at that point in time, George Lucas still had property. I don't know if he did or Disney.
Oh my God, George Lucas! Sorry.
But they allowed the filmmaker and David Prowse to do this scene.
Mhm.
The only caveat was you only show it at a private screening once, and you're done with it. And nobody else gets to see it. You don't get to YouTube it. You didn't. I don't know if they made him destroy it, but they said you can film it.
You can look at it
You can look at it
one time,
and
and that's it.
and you're done. Yeah.
Mhm.
And so the only people that were able to see it were the filmmakers, David Prowse himself, and I'm sure maybe a few special guests. I mean, in a very small private theater, and that was it. And well, when he came out of the theater, he was you could tell that he was very touched, and that he was proud of that work that he did. And of course, he said he wished he could have played that part for everybody, but it just didn't work out that way for him. But that being in essence a fan film as well, and that one wasn't able to be shown. That's just a segment. Maybe
I think that's something.
No,
different.
I think
that's something different.
Yeah, that's
Part of
writing
the
an
movie.
injustice. I think.
Okay.
I mean, and I know there's controversy or the whole reasoning with them doing that,
Yeah.
but I think that's still that's disheartening, and it kind of goes to show it's kind of like I'm not saying that anyone would turn away from Star Wars or Disney for that matter because of this instance, but it's just kind of like it's like, God, I fucking hate you, but I respect you, or I like at least what you're putting out, kind of thing.
Mhm.
It's like it's bullshit, but you're going back for more because you like what they have to begin with. But it's like an accepted thing. Like I just feel like they did it wrong, and people know that. Looking at this, and also in retrospect, looking at David Prowse in the situation. But it's just kind of like at what point are you going to let your morals get in the way if you watch the next Star Wars film? You know what I mean? It's like, God damn it, I hate you, but I don't hate the story, or I don't hate the actors, or I don't hate what you're doing, or the message that you're putting out, that kind of thing. But you can still not be happy with the very people at the tippy top that make those, decisions.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't know if you knew that or not.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah. I didn't know the bit about the whole special screening and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. It was.
That was kind of them to do it, but it's kind of too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, even then, for one screening and not to be, replicated,
Yeah.
duplicated, anything else shown at any other point, that was just to appease him at that point. So he would quote unquote shut up, because I'm sure he signed a contract saying,
I think so.
Like, we can sue the shit out of you if you show it anywhere again, or if you talk about it again, or whatever. But I just that's so disingenuous, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand corporations and businesses must protect themselves and their properties, right? But like you said, at what point does morality come in, or does it ever?
I'd say there is a value point for that,
right?
Well, that's kind of like saying, you keep talking. I'll come up with an analogy here in a second.
Well, if
one that would make you question it.
It's kind of like no animals were harmed in the making of this film.
But do you know?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
What happened before that, though? Like Old Yeller. Let's just go. It's an older movie, right?
Yeah, and then how they really shot the dog.
What if they actually did shoot the dog?
Well,
would you still watch Old Yeller? Or Marley and Me? Oh, you know what I'm saying?
Didn't they?
What?
I don't know.
Didn't they actually?
Did they actually shoot the dog? No, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't.
It's a whole new movie.
You're gonna make Sarah cry.
It's a whole new movie now, right?
Dog's dying.
This was a sad movie. Now it's a horror movie.
They didn't shoot.
We only had to shoot one dog shooting us.
Yes.
You know when they say shooting a
what I
movie?
mean, though?
Okay, so would it have been better if it was a dog shooting the other dog?
What? No, that's not. Oh my god. Okay.
Okay.
But
Maybe
did you
not.
get my analogy?
I did.
Okay.
I did. It's very analogous.
Was that kind of where you were going?
Yeah. But I honestly, when it comes down to it, I don't think people give a shit about that kind of thing anymore. No, I'm just being speaking honestly. Like,
no.
I think you're gonna have like a certain
Not the
amount
animal thing.
Oh.
No.
I am talking
Oh, you are? Okay.
Oh no.
Oh,
No, yeah.
Okay, I'll put it to. I'm not talking about a dog, but if it was any other animal, yeah, you might have like 5, 10%, 20% of people.
Elephant.
Hold on a second. You might have 5, 10.
So mammals.
I think you would have.
Fish. Well,
There would probably be a small percentage of people say, you know, this movie, I'm not going to watch it because you did that. But I think the remainder of the people would be like, yeah, but they did it already, and I really like this, so I'm going to watch it anyway.
No.
I don't think people have as good of morals as you think they do.
So
The deed is done.
would you watch this? Well, let's say that it is.
No.
You would.
If it was like.
Let's say it was required in class to watch one of these movies for some kind of English term paper or something. You'd say
If it was to get like whatever movie shut down, you need to be informed before you protest things.
Well, what if it was a classic movie?
So, no.
No?
Oh, there are
No,
plenty of
I wouldn't
classic
watch
movies.
it.
So
Okay,
I'm gonna ask you this.
Can we talk about Star Wars now?
Well, yes, I'm gonna angle this.
What if they killed a snake? Would you have a problem with that?
You know, in Star
Exactly.
Wars,
And I mean,
many Bothans died.
For us to
I'm
get
sure
this
they
information.
did.
You know, so
I'm just saying if with the technology that we have now, or wait, okay, hang on, this is too.
Oh, here's
Conclusions.
here's a fantastic point.
Mhm.
If they did it, maybe if they did it for Star Wars, or I don't know this, the numbers, so maybe they did do it for Star Wars, at least Episode 7. But what they're talking about with Marvel movies, at what point do your morals get in the way? Okay, Scarlett Johansson was vastly underpaid in comparison to
Well,
Hemsworth or
no, and that's messed up too.
any of the others, RDJ or whatever.
but she has no superpowers.
And she's still in the movie. She
Well,
was
but outside of the movie, she doesn't have superpowers either, and neither do the rest of them. But what I'm saying is, at what point do your morals get in the way? If you're, I'm not gonna say, okay, I'm not gonna go that route because this is not a political podcast. But I'm saying, at what point does it get in the way? If you want to talk about gender inequality as far as pay, she was vastly underpaid in comparison to other people, and you can make any argument that okay, she didn't have as much screen time, or she didn't have superpowers, or whatever, blah, blah, blah. She didn't negotiate. I don't know if these are the circumstances, but she didn't negotiate as well as Robert Downey Jr. or Chris Hemsworth or
that's
whoever.
usually how it is. Though.
But the fact of the matter is that she got vastly underpaid. Are you going to not watch that because this is like one of your breakpoints? And the answer to that question is, of course I'm not. Of course I'm still going to watch it. I disagree with what they did. I can think the people who made the decisions are assholes, but I'm still going to watch this film. She's still in it.
How much screen time did Mark Hamill get in The Force Awakens? And how much screen time did Daisy Ridley get in The Force Awakens?
This point is that there's going to be huge.
I'm sure
Very
there's a
huge.
vast difference, but
Should there be? Should everybody get paid the same? Even the guys that are in the puppet suits and stuff.
see,
How about this? Make the comparison from Mark Hamill to Harrison Ford. I bet you they probably got paid comparable, but Harrison Ford had a lot more screen time than Mark Hamill alone.
but
And he brings that name to it.
And if,
Oh my God.
if you're, let's say that you created the CGI for Maz Kanata.
yeah.
Should
Was she a
you
puppet
get,
or?
right?
Shut up.
Should you get paid as much as the actress who
was-
actually voiced that character? Because she's not that character.
Yeah.
You actually digitally made that character. She's just voicing it. That's tough, right?
It is, but I think there's And this is not my opinion only. Like, I don't know how it's itemized between, like, okay, you have this much screen time, you're this famous,
you have this title.
Yeah. I think it's easier to stop. I think
this is not it too.
It's not easier.
This is
Okay.
thing overall.
It's not easier to stop. I think it's easier to talk in your own, natural voice and tone than to spend hours animating something. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if it's two actors and they have similar, like, how do you say, resumes,
Mm-hmm.
why not pay them the same? And same with Avengers. Okay, yeah, Robert Downey Jr. might have been in the business longer, but Scarlett Johansson's been in a ton of shit. Why not pay them? Not pay them all this. We'll pay them all the same.
Because it's the same thing. If they could, they would pay you zero.
Oh, I know. For
so
sure.
you have to negotiate your own things, right?
Yeah.
But like I said, regardless of any of those things, you're still watching the film where she's getting paid, let's just say on a good day, a fifth of what the top actor is getting paid. At what point do your morals stand in the way and saying, I'm not going to watch this because I disagree with this wholeheartedly?
That's actually a really good question that you pose. Like, personally.
Wait, really? Hold on. No, it's not freezing outside.
Right. I'm holding on to the table so I don't fall over. Oh, God.
It's really warm. No.
Hey, so I'm curious if you were to hear that in The Force Awakens, Daisy Ridley got paid $2,000 to play Rey, and Mark Hamill to play Luke Skywalker in The Force Awakens, who had maybe a minute and a half of screen time?
I think it was like 30 seconds.
Right? Yeah.
How many words did he say?
Right. He only opened his mouth once. And
$1 million.
Let's say he got paid $13 million for that. I think Micah's question is,
would I go? Would I still go watch it? Would I still contribute money to the profits of that movie? And I know it happens every day. And
You're watching it.
Not that you're speaking for everybody.
I know.
We're just asking you.
I wouldn't want to. I really genuinely would not want to. But out of just like curiosity, and I enjoy what's happening, I would watch it, but I'd be upset about it at the same time. And I don't.
It's hard, right?
And just being one person, like, you can write letters and you can do so much stuff, but without a mass of people behind you, it's not going to do anything.
And it's funny that you say that, because then if you were to, like, yes, I went to watch it. I still think it's wrong that Daisy Ridley only got paid $1,500 for this movie.
No,
and
let's just
right. Let's just.
Mark Hamill got paid $100 million.
Yeah.
Daisy really had food taken care of.
Right. She was bringing in, platters for everybody to eat. That was her pay.
Oh my God.
She had to pay if she wanted cable on her trailer.
Exactly. Yeah. No Xbox. No nothing.
I still love you, Daisy. Sorry.
And then if you were to say, I think it's wrong, and if somebody were to say, did you go watch the movie? Now all of a sudden you kind of look.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
what's fucked up,
I'm disappointed in myself.
So I was just curious.
But I mean, that's
a really good point.
Oh, thank you. But I think that's what, like, kind of the point. Maybe it gets back to this, is that our morals are flexible, especially when it comes down to, it's like, don't tell me the bad stuff. I just want to see the good stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like in this case, they could take that guy's name off of whoever created it, Danny Ramirez.
Mm-hmm.
They could, you could take away from the fact that Disney's getting the money for it, but it's like, did you like this?
Yeah.
And I would think majority of people would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see another one. And then if you threw in the ethical question of like, well, the dude he's making it got screwed, he's not getting paid, and they want him to do another one, but Disney's getting the money on it.
Bootleg it.
But still, that people are going to probably say, oh, man, that sucks. Can I have another slice of cake, please?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
and it's just I don't know. Is it problematic? Yeah, but it's not like you could go to really watch. Like if you're a friend of Daisy Ridley, like if you could go to really watch and to support her, but at the end of the day, like the majority of people, that small figure I was talking about, if people knew that animals were actually killed, majority of people are still going to go. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of people are still going to go. They're like, God, man, that sucks about the pay inequality or someone getting hurt or blah, blah, blah. Or maybe someone, a part of the crew got hurt and they paid the money. They pay the family, a minimal amount to shut them up so that people weren't focused on that anymore.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to watch this movie because that's what I want to see. Episode 9. I want to see episode 8. I want to see episode 7, regardless of the human factor.
Yeah. That's very true. I mean, it's hard to swallow and it's hard to say. And I'm sure it's hard for your, if you're somebody who's near and dear to animals or, whatever the case may be, to say, man, I know an animal got hurt in this movie, but I got to watch it anyways. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, it takes a lot of emotion out of you, I'm sure. And I don't know. But, back to his fan film, I mean, it's...
After all, thoroughly depressed now.
I know, right? Let's finish this.
Are you though? Oh, hey, Nate said to Misco. Hi, Nate.
Hey, what's up, Nate?
Say greetings from ATX.
Oh, yes.
Hey, that's cool.
Right. I forgot they moved.
What?
Wait, they moved?
Nate? Yeah. They moved.
Oh.
I don't know.
Well,
Yeah.
congrats.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's been on the show like five?
It's 5 times?
Is it 4 or 5
That's a
times,
lot.
Nate? Are you still with us?
You always have a seat for you, bud.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Always, even if we have to kick them out.
Yeah, oh my God.
Or so.
What?
Wow.
People still watch it. Remember, people don't care.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So like right now, if you fell out of that chair, bumped your head on the corner over there, people would still watch this.
As a matter of
That'd
fact,
be funny.
as a matter of fact, more people would watch it.
Oh my God.
So
Sarah, do it again because we got like 200,000 hits. Oh my goodness.
yeah, such great content. Yeah, but I want to watch that. 15 seconds of someone being completely humiliated.
Humiliated?
Yes, humiliated.
Well, let's go to a more upbeat
Please.
subject.
Yeah.
Oh.
Solo, which was considered a bust.
I loved it.
So
Did
did
they
I.
kill animals? No.
Are you really fixated on that?
A little bit. I'm a little like
Well, we can delve into that
shaken.
more.
No,
No?
it's not.
What if we
Like,
told you that they killed a bum to watch it? Would you care then?
Yes.
A bum.
She's like trying to convince herself. Does anybody miss?
Because those are people. Anyway,
Those are
okay.
our people.
Let's talk about something else.
Yes, Han Solo, considered a bust, is now nominated for visual effects for the Academy Award.
Yes.
I said that
Yes.
backwards. Academy Award for visual effects.
Yes.
Should they deserve to
Guess
win?
what?
Yes.
This
It was fucking great.
it was a great
It
movie.
was awesome.
Actually, I know they said it was a bust, but then at the end of the year, it made enough money where it's like, nah, it wasn't a bust.
Yeah,
Just people are assholes.
yeah.
This outrage culture.
Yeah, when you say it was a bust, just because you say it doesn't mean it was.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe that was the narrative they wanted to do, so they could have a huge overhaul.
Mm-hmm. I'm still hoping that they do a trilogy off of this thing.
Me too.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to. I don't know if it was on the show, but like if they were to do a trilogy, it didn't have to be, Solo number 2 or Solo second chapter or Solo again kind of thing. Like it could, like
Always so.
like when they're talking about having like a Boba Fett movie or having like it could be like almost like this is like an underground series or whatever. The first one was emphasized on Solo. Solo obviously still being the second and third one. He would be obviously one of the main characters for it. But in this way, it was like I said, it's maybe part of an underground series where it's like, okay, the first one, the emphasis was Solo.
Mm-hmm.
And then we bring the next case into the underground world, like the bounty hunters and all that shit, smuggling and stuff. Like I think that would be cool if they had it, like you still have these same, pivotal characters, but like in different circumstances where like the focus is turned a little bit. So it's kind of like you don't have to like Solo as much, but you will like the second one.
Yeah.
To kind of get the hook back in the mouth.
And they could even like do something like the first one was Solo, a Star Wars story.
Mhm.
Second one could be Solo, a smuggler's run, where they go and do stuff for Jabba or
Because that would be the second one,
what I
right?
mean? Yeah, you know what I mean. And then the third one maybe Solo,
Star Wars trilogy.
Yeah,
Oof.
yeah,
Oof.
a Star Wars trilogy. But
You okay?
Oh, I'm great. Especially knowing that little kids probably never mind. I have to go that far.
yeah, they picked all the popcorn. Okay.
You probably almost died just making
Stop.
It's okay. You can lick the cheese off of it.
Where do you think
Gross.
the material
Stop.
came from that?
Stop.
They had to pasteurize cows to get that cheese.
I mean, they may not have died, but they were put through some shit.
Oh, I know.
Back to poop.
Oh, so as long as they don't
Oh
die.
my God. Anyway.
Yes. Okay. So
Morals don't mean anything. You don't care. Who
It's
cares?
like, whose line is it anyway?
Anyway.
I totally
Morals
missed
don't
that.
anything.
Yeah, you're right. Whose line anyway? Go.
Let me ask you
That was
guys.
the next one.
Well, have y'all watched it on Netflix? Because it's on Netflix now.
So,
So-
yeah, I have.
So
Uh-huh.
I have it.
I have it. You have it?
I have it. It is mine.
Ah.
What?
I still haven't bought it.
Because they're gonna
I feel
take
like
it
that's
off.
one.
Of
Yeah, just put it on Netflix. It'll be there for a bit.
well, whenever the thing goes down.
Yeah, probably about another 8 or 9 months.
Even if you save 50 cents a week, you still have plenty of money to buy it at the end of that time.
True. Very true. Along the lines of the Solo movie,
Even if you have to
Yeah.
push a little kid down, take his change.
give me all money. That's what I do at the
Real
movie
Grand
theater.
Theft Auto style.
And then I go buy my popcorn.
I got just enough money to get extra cheese in this.
Don't be chinchy on the butter.
Don't be stingy.
All right. New evidence suggests the Mandalorian footage could be shown at Star Wars Celebration. Have they started filming this thing already?
I think so, man. I mean, well, hell, they have that scene photo
Mm-hmm.
with the Mandalorian walking through what could be Tatooine.
Mm-hmm. Pedro Pascal.
Pedro Pascal.
I haven't seen anything on his Instagram in regards to that. I'm sure he's on
Yeah.
total darkness on that one. On being able to say anything.
Because they really haven't released any much information. And even with the loose slip of the tongue, like they barely, like, just once did they really acknowledge that he was the Mandalorian too. So I mean, that's kind of what got me thinking about the shards of the past.
Okay.
That maybe, like, did you just play it? I said shard, not shart, but
Many sharks of the past.
but like maybe they did that in anticipation. Maybe that's a future project that they have.
Mhm.
Because remember, they were talking about at some point in time they wanted to do, like, and I know a lot of that probably has changed because of things like episode 8 and the Solo film. But at some point in time, they're talking about doing like little anthology films, and I know there was a huge surge. I think there's even a petition online for people wanting to see like an actual standalone Vader film,
Mhm.
which would essentially encompass, post episode 3 going up to episode 4, or in this case, I guess Rogue One, wanting to see like, Vader slice and dice the remaining Jedi of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Like maybe that is semi-treading on that, and that's why they were kind of like, no, don't do this, don't do
Because
this.
we got plans for that
Mhm.
already.
Yeah.
I'm curious on these anthology films like Rogue One, and they've talked about and Solo, and then they talked about maybe a Kenobi, maybe a Boba Fett,
Master
etc.
Kenobi. So,
I'm curious because there has been very recent photos, and I'm going to reel this back to Solo a little bit.
I think that's
Probably there are pictures of Jar Jar Binks in his robes, senatorial robes, with emblems here and here of Crimson Dawn.
Really?
Okay, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
That'd be an awesome way to bring it back. It's like, yeah, he was a Sith Lord.
Yeah. And now it could be lighting and other things, but it looks very, very
Maybe it's how that started.
legitimate. You know what I mean? Not doctored or anything like that. And what if they made a standalone anthology film and brought kind of like legitimacy to that character?
Ooh, there's another question for speaking of morality. What if they did that, made Jar Jar out to be a badass, got a different actor, especially with everything that the actor had gone through? Would you still watch it?
I never liked Jar Jar to begin with, though.
Yeah, that damn guy like went through so much, shit, man.
Let me show you guys this picture real quick.
That's not a good picture to show, right?
It's just it might not be. There actually is a better one. I'll send it to you guys later. But
I'm just kidding.
No, actually, this kind of.
He's like, no, you're right. Fine.
Let me see.
Man, that's
okay. Maybe you can. You're gonna zoom in like on Jar Jar's like. Let me unplug it for you there.
Oh, but I thought you were gonna talk about, and I'm sure I wrote it off as being bullshit when I saw it, and I've seen a couple of things about it since then. But like this whole like underlying comment about George Lucas directing a Kenobi film in London or something.
Oh, I think you brought that up before.
Well, I know we've mentioned it before,
like
but
this little.
like I keep on every so often seeing, and it could be just complete speculation, could be complete fabrication, but it kind of seemed like there's just enough happening where it's just kind of like, is he?
Yeah.
Are they? What's going on?
I don't get it from just that.
Right.
I mean, if he did have, if there
there's
wasn't
another one. Yeah,
Oh,
right here.
yeah.
And who knows?
I think you shared this with us on the.
Yeah.
I'm gonna seen it somewhere.
So, I was just curious what you guys thought. Maybe if they did a anthology film, like something like that.
Misa Jar Jar Binks. Misa gonna kill you.
Yeah. Because I mean, there have been, and I don't know if y'all have seen this either. I know Sarah, you've been very busy with school right now, and then Micah, I don't know what he does, but
I cry in the corner.
Through your
Put the lime,
through your
coconut, and mix it up.
through your eyes, through
No, through the lines.
tears of joy. It says Collider Jedi Council. Star Wars comic book gives Jar Jar Binks a lightsaber and more. I don't know what that has to do with. So apparently,
The only way I think you can do that if they were to bring him back somehow, and this could just us be pressing the overthink button due to a simple fabrication. I think the only way they could do that is it would have to be the whole case of being a Sith, which I think would be awesome. Like I said, like there have been so many times, like in the very beginning, it's like it was so easy to say, "No, Jar Jar's stupid." Yeah, what's the score of episode 1? Automatically minus 10 points or whatever because of that. But like I said, through watching the Clone Wars movie and everything, there's just no way that there's not something else there. But I could see, Lucas, kind of, tail between his legs saying, "Oh, people really don't like him. I can't go that direction with him." Especially with the few things that we've brought up in the past as like conspiratorial things, where it's like looking for information to validate that claim, that conspiracy theory. But I think the only way you can do that, if you were to bring him back, is like you would have to bring him back as like he's still alive. He's a very huge pivotal character because he is a Dark Lord or some shit.
Would you buy into that if that was the kind of whole underlying?
See, that's a huge fringe topic though. Like they would have to do so good at that
to
turn around people's thoughts like that. And that's not attacking Sarah. I know that's a lot of people share the animosity towards that character.
Yeah.
I was one of them for a brief time.
Yeah.
Or I'm not gonna say brief time, but for an extended period of time.
Yeah. In order for that to happen, like you said, Micah,
he's got to come out.
Yeah.
like a Vader, a new Vader, hallway scene. It's gonna have to be, who the hell is this guy?
Yeah.
Jar Jar.
Yeah. And then would people believe it? Like,
Yeah.
It's no longer Jar Jar. It's Bol.
Yeah, or whatever.
Bobo.
Bol. Like a bowl.
Bobo.
Instead of jar.
Oh!
Wow, it's not as funny if you have to explain it.
It's funny.
I'm sorry.
Cup. Mug. Punch. No.
Bol. All right. So another thing says Star Wars Episode 9 filming returns to Hardington Air Sheds as the end of principal photography approaches. So they're almost done filming it. So if they're almost done filming it, are we going to get
Yes.
a Super Bowl trailer?
Yes.
Maybe like just an itty bitty teaser trailer.
No, so we were talking about this for last
almost-
Super Bowl, right?
Yeah,
And it didn't happen.
but it's almost what?
But
It comes out in December. It's almost a year out.
I
Mhm.
almost a year. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, 11 months. It's 11 months out.
Well, it is January
You round up.
25th. It's almost
It's
almost
11
February.
months and
10 months. It is almost 10 months out.
9 months.
Like,
And
maybe let's continue this argument. It's like,
Anyway.
when this happens in the summer. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, as far as you know, you're gonna fall asleep. It's gonna be boom, December.
I hope I don't fall asleep and then boom, it's December. Go ahead.
What if you could just do like was it the movie Click with Adam Sandler? Press fast forward to December.
That was a good movie.
That would be nice.
That was a good movie.
But
I wish
I think we will, and I think the huge difference between last time is that J.J. Abrams released something before Christmas or around the Christmas time, I think, for episode 7, even though the movie was coming out a year later.
a year later.
And then the last time it was a completely different director. We didn't get anything until Star Wars Celebration.
Who's director? What director was
I forgot his name because I don't want to say his name. Ryan Johnson.
that?
Ryan Johnson
anything
didn't
until-
show us anything. They didn't show us anything until okay. They gave us a title, I think, in October. But as far as a title, October, November, I think timeframe. But as far as that, we didn't see any imagery or anything at all until Star Wars Celebration. Was it late March, April, early April? I think is what it was.
Mhm.
So it was 8 months out before we saw really anything.
Yeah.
But that was a different director. J.J. Abrams before had something out a year out almost.
When it was a year out, did we have a title for it yet, or was it just? I don't remember now.
A year out? What for 8?
7.
I think so.
We had a title already.
Because
right?
usually like, and that's why like I still kind of have speculation on this because we hadn't received a title for 9 yet.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, well, how can we get a Super Bowl? Or how can because the conversation was that we were going to get a trailer for Christmas. I was like, we haven't got a title yet, so how the hell are we going to get a trailer?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, of course, I was still hoping that we got that trailer, but we hadn't received a title yet. I think before it had come out, not too early, but it was
Still, we haven't gotten a title for this one yet.
no. And honestly, thinking about it now, since we're talking about the Super Bowl, I don't know if it's crap, but I saw that someone made a report that somehow the spots that Disney had designated as far as whether it was for whatever,
Yeah.
that somehow Pepsi stole them.
Well, I was listening to a sports talk radio this morning, early this morning, and they were saying because it's going to be on CBS,
Mhm.
right?
I mean,
year.
yes.
CBS being more of a how can you say?
Competitor,
Well, yes, a competitor, but
agitator.
conservative source of entertainment avenue, as opposed to NBC and ABC,
I
right?
don't feel like ABC.
ABC is-
conservative than CBS. Anyway,
Well,
semantics.
ABC is owned by
Semantics.
Disney. Disney,
Yeah,
very
I know.
liberal, right? So I heard this morning that
I like that. I was like, oh, okay, he did say it. That way.
that CBS has been shifting through commercials and just putting stuff
Oh, okay.
like, no, you're not going to put that on, and we don't want your commercial. No, I don't care how much you're going to give us. we don't want that commercial. You know what I mean?
There's not anything that you're going to see in Star Wars that would do that.
Well, the only reason I'm saying that is because if let's say CBS wants to hold their a little bit more conservative approach to the representation, and since Disney does own the Star Wars rights, then I'm wondering if they're going to be like, we'll pass. Just because it's owned by a very liberal entity.
That'd be so idiotic on their part.
I'm just pushing.
No, I know.
I'm pushing the narrative.
What you're saying. No, I know what you're saying. I'm just saying that would be so idiotic on their part. Because I mean, hell, when they released, even was it like a 56-second trailer for Avengers 4 Endgame, like, and it broke all the records or whatever.
Yeah,
that wasn't shown anywhere. That was just released in mass media. Well, all the masses, turned into social media to find it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like if they were to do that to ABC, it's like, all right, well, screw you. We're just going to do it on our own and save all that money probably. Like, so that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to get released. You're not going to stop them, so you might as well do that.
Yeah.
I mean, how about this?
If did have a chance to get the Super Bowl,
they would pay for it, of course.
But they opted to keep Monday Night Football on ESPN instead. Do you think that might have been a mistake
for ABC?
Yeah,
being owned by Disney, yeah, because money just probably shouldn't mean anything to them.
True.
Own everything.
What do you think? You think that would be kind of dumb?
What happens during just like the viewership, like moving from ABC to ESPN
for what, Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has like the number one viewership of
any day of the year.
Any day, any event.
The Monday football thing is wrong.
They've released some big stuff during Monday night.
I don't know. I'm sure they could have had both.
Well, even then, because remember they released an extended brand new trailer for episode 7 during Monday night, and when they released it, they're like, "Oh, you can buy your tickets now."
Yeah.
Remember it was October game.
I do remember that. I remember
because I went to go online, and that's when their Fandango's like crashed. I was like, "Fuck!"
Yeah.
And I had to go run down to theaters to buy my tickets.
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember it was a trashy like Dallas Eagle game or
Giants. It was like a non-meaning game, anyways. So I'm wondering if we're going to get anything for the Super Bowl. To be honest with you, I don't think so. I don't.
There's not even a title yet. And Super Bowl's in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think
a week and a half.
But it's not going to be. They could easily, and I've thought about this, and in course, yeah, sure. I really want to see the trailer. And is it likely that they would release a trailer before the name? No, and I think they would divvy it up. But it could be easy for them just to simply show the trailer and just put, on X.
Okay.
Episode 9, and then later they're like, oh. Title, by the way, is, and they can have that revealed because inside of it they're going to be like, okay, here's a trailer. People are going to be speculating, oh my god, what's the title name? Yeah, and that they could draw that out for at least another week or two before they did that.
You think they're giving J.J. Abrams free reign over this?
They better. I feel like they would, but I feel like with the things that's been going on, that it's going to be really, what they call it, a backseat driver, helicopter parent. Like, they might be giving free reign, but they're going to be looking over their shoulder a lot.
You need to slow down a little bit.
It's like, they're going to be like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing this. Yeah, but no, I got it. Yeah. Like, they may not be stopping and impeding on his work, but they might just be asking a lot more questions. Yeah. To ensure it's kind of like, okay, that makes sense.
Would you? Or would you give
free reign?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's his.
But
let's say you are the president of Lucasfilm.
Okay.
You're Kathleen. What's up?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You're on contract for the next 2 years,
which isn't anything,
right? Your job pretty much depends on if this next movie or 2 does extremely well, and now there's been this backlash of Solo and from The Last Jedi. On Force Awakens, to me, just from my opinion, from the videos he's put out, J.J. Abrams I'm talking about, from the pre-movie videos he put out during. So I'm wondering, would you say, you did so great on The Force Awakens? that just do whatever you want, just like the last one,
No, because you're asking them one.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's going to give us what they want or what
yeah.
he had envisioned.
No. I think he's gonna. Like I said, well, it's just my bad.
Yeah,
I already given my
I
opinion.
mean, I agree with him.
Dan, that's 3. Everyone's
I
gonna
know.
die today. It's the
Because
apocalypse,
they're
second
gonna be
coming.
like, oh, it's your creative baby, but oh shit, wait, hang on, no, I don't want to get fired.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, kind of look at some of the. I mean, I know this might be not necessarily good comparison, but like from watching, let's just say, Batman versus Superman.
Yeah.
Everyone hated the movie that they put out,
Yeah.
but then a lot of people enjoy the extended version, all the shit that they cut out, and then it's supposedly the same thing with another one of them, because it's like, you know, the owners of the companies or whatever, the CEOs or whatever, they're coming down saying, no, you can't do this. I don't want to see this. You need to cut this down, blah, 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 whatever.
Mhm.
And people were pissed. But then when you get back to the actual director's vision of it, it's kind of like, oh, that was good.
Why
And I
didn't they
think-
just do that?
Exactly. And I think Disney is smart enough to know, like, again, they might be having more of a oversight on it. But to the point, too, is that they got to realize we hired this guy for his creative genius. If we cut into that too much, if we start dictating what he's doing, it's not his picture anymore. It's ours.
Mhm.
And we hired this guy because we know what he can do.
Yeah.
I think, and I think that was the only problem that anyone can really truly say about Episode 7 is that it was too safe of a movie. It was too safe of a movie. They didn't want to take it in certain particular directions because J.J. Abrams wanted to save that
Mhm.
for the next director. But then they realized, fuck, shouldn't have done that. You should have gone in the direction that you should have.
Yeah.
And so now I think they're going to be like, here's a mess. I need you to fix it.
I wonder
You know what I mean? Like-
where Star Wars would be right now if J.J. Abrams would have been scared to take on Episode 8, The Last Jedi.
So much better, I think.
Because I think that was his worry, right?
He was. I remember hearing about, like, firstly, I think they approached him to do the entire trilogy,
Yeah.
and he was too scared. Like, he wanted to take the project, but he was too scared as a fan and as also a director. He was like, I don't know if I can do that. So he said, I'll do the first one. And then after seeing how well it did after the first couple of weeks,
He's like,
he said, he's like, fuck, I really want to do Episode 8. He's
Too late,
but
yeah.
he was too afraid.
Yeah.
Because even then, what was it? Colin Firth was supposed to do Episode 9.
I think you're right.
Isn't that the one? They didn't want to do Jurassic Park, right?
Mhm.
Like, it was going to be a completely different director when he got scrubbed, or I think he walked away from the project or
Mhm.
something because of other things,
Mhm.
other engagements. They're like obvious choices, like, okay, we need to go back to Abrams. And in
Yeah.
that case, Abrams was like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'll do it.
That's why there's like reports coming out saying, is Episode 9 kind of like a hatchet job? Like, are they forcibly doing a course correct?
Mhm.
And it would make sense, especially with Disney's obvious displeasure
Yeah.
with what's going on the last couple of years.
I wonder if they're going to, and this question is for both of y'all. I wonder if they're going to. I'm going to pose it this way. Let me rewind that a little bit. So,
Are animals being killed?
Stop.
possibly.
We're not ruling it out yet.
In The Force Awakens, right? The very end, when Rey is having a lightsaber battle with Kylo Ren,
Mhm.
he gets a slash across the bridge of his nose and up towards his. In the following movie, The Last Jedi, it's like Anakin
Mhm.
across his eye. So as a fan, you're kind of like,
Mhm.
but his scar's supposed to be not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was just Ryan Johnson saying, it looked goofy to me. I'm going to change it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like inaccurate in a way. I'm wondering if JJ might do the same thing.
Some of those
Like with
He's
the.
gonna move it?
Well, no.
Oh.
What I'm saying is like,
the
what
plot, story plot and stuff.
what if there's some things that he's like, okay, that happened in the last movie, but
No.
not really.
Yeah.
And like Micah is saying, shift it back a certain way.
I think yes, but in what I would say is like a poetic sense is like he's not gonna. He's a fan, okay.
Yeah.
J.J. Abrams is a fan. He's also, this is his production, this is his film. He has a past and he has a future. So, and I also don't think I don't think that he presumes that the viewers are stupid either.
Mm-hmm.
So there's gonna be obvious, like, hey, what's that?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to happen. It's not like that. That didn't happen. That wasn't the result, whatever. So I feel like if he does this kind of course correction, it's going to make sense for the movie, but it will adjust a few things.
Yeah.
Like, or it might just be almost kind of like an omission. We're left episode 8 with, the broom kid.
Yeah. And then they never
none of
gets
that shit's going to be seen in episode 8.
Yeah.
At least that's my hope. It's a good point in theory. What?
You don't like Broom Kid?
I
It
think
was not
that's
Star Wars.
I think that opens up too big of a story with only one movie left.
Yeah.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
What
I think
if it
that's
was
probably
just
the best representation of it.
Yeah, it's like, okay, you've opened up this whole Pandora box and you have 2 hours to tell that story now.
Okay.
It's almost like, oh gosh.
Especially when you have the title is The Last Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Luke's it. If we don't get to Luke, everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and like, oh, well, Rey finds him, and Rey, he's not really taught by, Luke Skywalker, the infamous greatest Jedi, whatever, blah, 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 but she makes it on her own way. She can do all these things that he can never could do, at his point in development, as opposed to Rey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're starting to see all these different things, and then all of a sudden you go from nothing to everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, this little kid who, as far as we know, has no training, nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But with the Force Awakened in him, it's like an FU. Like, there's not a logical consistency with the movie itself.
Yeah.
With the story that they have, and then just kind of at the very end, like, you're supposed to be accepting of that. It's cute in practice, but again, I think the best way is what you said is that can make sense, but you don't have the time to explain that.
Yeah.
So that's why we were speculating, like, what's episode 9 going to be like? There's probably going to be some time, some breakage in there, but is Rey going to be trying to train new people? Are there even enough people that you can do that?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think that's too much of a stretch. There's not enough time. There's not enough film to be able to do that. And the whole point was that there was still Luke, and yes, of course, there was Kylo Ren, and then you had Snoke. But the Force Awakened from episode 7, the Force Awakened and Rey, that was a very special thing.
Yeah.
And just to have it so cheaply done with a little kid at the end of episode 8, it takes away from it.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. I can see how.
Or you would have to have so much more time to explain why this kid that they so happen to have talked to, why it worked for him. It was almost like a non-Force user, but connected to a Force user, made a contact with someone else and then became a Force user. It's too cheap of a move to not explain or expect something significant to come from.
And it would be kind of a jerk move if Rian Johnson is doing this. And I'm only speculating. I haven't heard anything about this, but if he used the Broom Kid to kind of spur on the trilogy that they gave him separate from what's going on with the entire Star Wars universe over here in the Skywalkers.
But didn't they say it was like a different time frame at all?
Yeah, and what I mean
I could
by
see that.
Older Broom Kid.
Yeah. And I don't mean the Broom Kid himself, but that the Force
like
can
he's
be
the new like
anywhere
ancestor guy
or whatever.
I think if they do that, I would hope they shoot that shit down.
Yeah.
Because again, that's too cheap of a move.
Yeah.
It's cheap in thought. It's cheap in logical consistency as far as a movie. Again, this is a big deal for Rey.
Yeah.
Especially if she's nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's nobody else was awoken. Like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I will be upset
That
if
was
they.
cute.
What?
Nothing. That was cute.
Well, that's what I said. It was a cute little ending, but it takes away from the message that has been created in this trilogy.
Mm. Yeah. Well, we'll see what the Star Wars universe brings us, right?
I trust J.J. Abrams. I don't have any concern. Of course, there's things I want to see, but again, I'm going to leave it to him.
Give me 3 things you want to see in episode 9.
3 things I think are going to happen, or 3 things I just want to see.
Well, let's go with 3 things you want to see.
Knights of Ren.
Okay.
They Turn Dark.
Okay.
Kylo Ren to be redeemed, and then Rey kills him.
Okay. What do you want?
Oh, you know what? Take the last word. Just say that she was a Palpatine. Interchange that.
Wait,
Sure.
what? That she's a Palpatine?
I think that theory is still on board. I think
I was talking.
I think episode 8, as far as everything's concerned with her lineage and everything, is a wash. I do believe.
So there's on Instagram. There's a group called GoGo Empire, and they tag us in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we appreciate that, guys. If any of y'all see this or y'all are listening, we appreciate it. Keep doing that, and we'll do that as well because we tag them and stuff too. They were saying possibly did they clone Rey from the severed hand of Luke? And I mentioned to them, and this was earlier today, that we think
that's cool.
Yeah, that we think possibly that maybe she's a Palpatine because of her fighting style or facial, the facial expressions she makes. You know what I mean? So and I messaged with them just very briefly, but so yeah, I mean, there's so many theories that can happen, and I'm curious, Sarah, what do you want to see happen in episode 9? Not what that you think we're gonna have, but what would you like to see happen?
I want a Rey and Kylo Ren showdown. Another one, because this is just fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Gosh, you wasted that. Obviously, it's gonna happen.
We just said what I want. That's what I want, and it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
That's what I want. And then
that's like clouds outside and saying, "Genie, I wish it to rain." Okay, I was gonna rain anyway, so it was easy.
will you shut up?
That's number 1.
Okay, number 1. Number 2. Poe.
Rapo.
Not Rapo. I don't want Rapo.
We keep on going with that.
Poe, like I don't know. I don't know what I want.
Something with Poe.
Poe, like. Because in The Last Jedi, Poe did like discovering himself as a leader. So I want him to be like Mac Daddy, general guy.
Okay.
Right on top. Stop.
Mac Daddy.
I don't know what I want.
So
he's a general, but he's also a pimp. Emperor Palpatine
Stop.
meets
Rapo.
meets pimpish Poe.
Pimpish Poe.
Mac Daddy. That was your words, man.
So Poe as like maybe an admiral or a general.
Yeah.
Or something.
You walk around the cane and everything. Like,
And
what's
then
up, baby?
then you want
A showdown.
between Rey
Yes.
and Kylo.
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Well, why don't you think about the last one,
Mm.
and I'll give you what I would like to see happen. And it's along the same lines as Micah, but I'm going to get a little detailed. The Knights of Ren, I want to see them, right? But I would like to somehow get the Force vision from Rey and somehow connect the Knights of Ren and kind of fulfill, fill in those gap.
Play out what she saw, like a little snip. You want the whole thing. Okay.
I want to see exactly what went down there, and I would like to see that. I would like to see. We know that Luke is coming back because Mark Hamill signed on for this movie.
Okay,
so I want to see Luke kind of maybe as a ghost behind Rey and kind of
choking her,
teaching her
doing this
behind her,
choking her from behind.
Oh my god!
Kind of like,
buddy. Not that kind of movie.
With her meditating and then putting a lightsaber together of her own, or maybe with the same gem, constructing her own lightsaber, which we missed on Return of the Jedi, seeing Luke do that. So maybe they could actually do that in this film, And then
the world's like,
pass me about my winner.
Pass me about my winner.
And then the other thing that I'd like to see is, I think that I would like to see. I like his character, Hux, but I think I would like to see his character die.
Oh yeah.
But in a kind of funny way.
Really?
The captain.
I think he deserves like a dignified way because
But that's
they were being
I'm-
shitty to him last. Like Poe was being a shit to him,
Okay,
and he wasn't catching on, and that was like the depressing part. So it's like you got this guy, he's like way up there on the chain of command,
Uh-huh.
and this guy's just fucking with him, and he's letting it happen. Letting it happen.
but boom.
So,
This was your
a
chance to fall
dignified-
over,
a dignified
knock yourself
death.
on the table.
I missed it. God
Yeah.
damn it! All right, I'll have to redo it.
Opportunity missed. So no, but that would be the ironic part of him dying.
In a goofy way.
Yeah, like being sat on by a bantha or something like that, or something like that,
What a shit show this is.
or like the Borgullet, like strangling him to death or something like that.
Porgs eating
Or-
him.
yes, yeah. He got
Guys, come on. It's supposed to be a dark movie. What the fuck?
Porgs eating somebody is kind of dark.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
What if he's alive?
or okay. How about
Eating
this?
him alive.
Do
How
anything.
about like Huck has pulled his gun out on Leia, and from behind,
Wait, is dead?
no, and from behind,
No.
Chewie grabs his arms, rips him off, and
That'd be great.
head right off.
God damn it, dude.
That'd be great.
Because I think it would be easier to see that Chewie does that and then like bites him or some shit. I don't know.
No,
No.
whack his head off with one arm.
Okay, let me just talk about that little make the intersectionality with that real quick.
Okay.
There was two different hugs.
Hugs.
Hugs?
Yes.
I just want to see if
Chewie
you're, I just want to
Yes.
make sure you're paying attention. There's two different hugs that we saw from different movies.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Episode 7 like,
Armitage.
sounded very like I liked that hugs. I'm not saying
They will bow to the first
that
order.
was, and I think I read something that it was supposed to be a reflection of it, but very much
Mhm.
Adolf Hitler's speech.
Yeah.
And that was his equivalent. That
Mhm.
Hux was an equivalent to that.
Yeah.
The way they framed it, the way they shot it, the way the stance of him sitting up on stage,
Mhm.
overlooking all of his troops,
Even
amongst
with the flags
Mhm.
and
and about to destroy the Haskins, the Hawkins system, or whatever.
yes.
And then you have little bitch boy in episode 8.
Yeah.
Someone told him with him not knowing it, him getting beaten around by force users. Like it's so I think it was okay to see like the whole aspect of what Snoke was calling him, like, this is why I kept little Kerr in charge.
Yeah.
Like that aspect
He's
was
a
fine with me. But
like a
outside
puppet.
of that, he seemed like, I'm sorry, he was a little bitch boy in comparison to episode 7.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In 7, you liken him to being one of the most
Almost
maniacal.
Right. Equivalent to Ren, right? Or maybe
No.
even
Oh, an 8?
in 7.
Okay, yeah. At 7, I could see I could see the equivalent.
Like military.
He was more military,
And then-
civilian, not military civilian, but military
face.
non-force user
Yeah.
aspect. Like Ren was like the more seasoned special ops
Yeah.
operator. or
Yeah,
something.
there you go. Yeah.
Kind of like, yeah. I mean, you get what I mean. Like,
Yeah.
I guess an administrator, even though he has a lot of power. But in episode 7, Hux is likened to one of the most, evil men
Tyrannic.
of history. And then he turns into this little shit show in episode 8. Like,
Mhm.
how you do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, sure, he had a spark of resistance against Kylo Ren after Snoke is dead. Like, our Supreme Leader is dead, and then but again, Ren rolls right over him. I'm not
Yeah.
saying I have a problem with that, but again, Adolf Hitler episode 7, bitch boy in episode 8.
Yeah.
I need to see more consistency with that, and I think J.J. Abrams is going to fix that.
Mhm.
But in response to that, I feel like he would have this more kind of captain going down with the ship aspect in
Mhm.
episode 9. I think he probably will die, but it will be like this last, as much as we want to see a new vision, a new story brought to episode 9, I think there will probably still be elements of episode 6 and episode 3. Like that's always been like the finality of the trilogy is that you have like two different stories going on. One is the finite story, the Skywalker and Kenobi, or Skywalker, Luke and Anakin or Darth Vader and stuff. You're going to have that with Kylo Ren. You're going to have that with Rey.
Mhm.
But then you have the military aspect. You have the resistance against the First Order. And so I think for the First Order aspect, it's going to be, this huge, massive, holy shit, fight. And then Hux will probably go down with the ship being destroyed.
Mhm.
And like kind of like when you're seeing people, like I think there was elements you saw in episode 7, like even Hux is gone, but this time it's like Hux is like, no, like I got to prove my worth. I'm, I'm the goddamn general or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's going to go down with the ship. Like, we could take out these assholes, but it's going to cost us, ramming them or destroying the ship in the process. Something like that. I think that would kind of like justify his character.
Okay. So
I know that was a lot of bullshit to get around just to that.
No, but it kind of like gave us more of a picture.
Yeah.
Of how you're.
I mean, did y'all see the error in that?
No. Yeah.
From his episode 7, episode 8. Like,
yeah.
I had a huge issue with that. But
it was comedic in a way, and I think Star Wars needs that in some aspects of it. Maybe they should have used that on a different character.
Possibly, yeah.
Like a nobody character.
Yeah.
Like a just.
Maybe Rose.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I
because
think,
it could have would have given her a better element than just his love interest, because everyone hated her.
Yeah, I think it would have worked.
Okay, a lot of people hated her.
A lot of people didn't like her, but I'm saying like if it was the same scene in general, but instead of Hux, it was somebody else. It was still Poe doing it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
because that gave Poe like the
advantage.
The charm, sort of like snarky charm.
And even
but if it was somebody else, not Hux, to bring him, like it brought Poe a step up, but it brought him like 8 steps down. You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yeah, the disrespect.
And even then, you could have technically done that to Hux, but not from where he was in episode 7.
Yeah.
If you made him a different character in episode 7, where he was, let's just say much more squeamish.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have as much of a backbone. He wasn't this feared, representation, whether he could, fulfill on that threat or not. But like if they didn't have that in episode 7, like and at the end of episode 7, Starkiller Base is being destroyed, and he runs away like, "Oh my God, Dad!" Talking to Snoke like, "The whole thing's blowing up. What do I do?" Like if you could make that consistent, then that would have been fine. But I mean, I think you're right, Sarah. Like if they did it to someone else, because after seeing again him likened to be one of the representation of one of the most evil people in our history, and then episode 8, he's just like,
is this sarcasm?
Like, you can't do that.
It's almost like if they would have done that to General Tarkin, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You would have been like,
you would lose so much respect for what Tarkin was.
Yeah.
I think you hit that. That's a good point. That is a good point. So Sarah, who is your third thing?
I want to see what happens with Leia, and I know she has to die, but I don't want her to. So I don't know how that's going to play out. But I want to see what happens with Leia.
But does she have to die?
They're not going to use her. Well, unless they're like, oh yeah, Leia's over there. She's here, but she's over there. Like that's
because there's no more movies after this.
Yeah. I know, but that's just it's
like the pause. You sure? But yeah, I know.
it's not good enough for Carrie Fisher.
Mm-hmm. She would need a
royal
death.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a fucking noble ass death. And then, sorry, wow, there's a lot of cussing in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But a very meaningful, meaningful, like, make you want to, like, what it could have been in episode 8, because I started crying.
Mm-hmm.
And then she Supermaned back to the ship. If it was something like that, but real, and it actually like was permanent and it happened, I would want to see that versus, oh yeah, she's just Leia's over there, what's up, Leia,
Yeah.
It sucks, and I don't want to see it because I know it's going to bring up like emotion, but that's what I want to see from that character.
And that's why I thought they had a great opportunity with episode 8. Like if they killed her, like that was the forcing, that was the drive throughout the whole movie to survive despite losing General Leia, despite losing her, like that would have been the drive to force them to, they can't win, but survive, doing it by any means necessary. And then when they brought her back in, especially in that way, I'm just kind of like,
wah, wah, wah.
God damn it. You know what I mean? Like it was such a disappointment.
JJ could, I'm going to take you on a little trip here. And then
take a trip down Fantasyland.
Yeah, we're going to go down Fantasyland real quick. And then we're going to talk about maybe what we think is going to happen in episode 9, and then we'll wrap it up. So you want Rey.
Real quickly, I do want closure on the whole Rey looking down. Remember, because she was saying like you just went to the dark when she's talking to Luke, and she's like trying to tap into the Force.
Mhm.
I do want some closure on that.
Yeah.
And that's why I said I want to see her turn dark. That's kind of a segue into it,
Mhm.
because I think there is a huge element to that
And-
she keeps on like denying.
I'm glad you said that, because that's along the lines of what I was just about to say
Okay, sorry.
in our Fantasyland segment here.